Pokemon solo runs. Fun to watch, but not always fun to play. I have been doing solo runs on YouTube, inconsistently mind you, for over 2 years now. The concept is simple. Pick a Pokemon and beat every battle only using said Pokemon. Yeah, you'll likely need an HM slate to get through certain parts of the game, but other than that, one Pokemon is going to be doing all the heavy lifting. As we all know, not all Pokemon were created equal. Some were made to be the best, others were made to fail. So today, I want to come up with a list of the top 10 worst Pokemon that you can use for a solo run. That's kind of a mouthful. I'll probably just call it my top 10 worst solo runs. Solo runs that you'll watch and think, glad I'm not that guy. I'm going into this list with a few rule assumptions that most solo runners use. You can only use one Pokemon in battle, no items are allowed besides held, and no using cheating devices like a Game Shark. One last thing, if you end up enjoying the video, please like and subscribe. Arceus is watching, making sure you press that button. Now let's begin. Number 10. Pretty much any Pokemon in Emerald Kizo. Emerald Kizo is a ROM hack of Pokemon Emerald, with the difficulty cranked up to 11. I actually attempted this challenge because no one else did. With this market untapped, I thought to myself, hey, you know what? I'll give it a shot. And just in case it's really hard, I'll use a Mewtwo. I got bodied, and I repeat, I was using a Mewtwo. People have said this game is hard, but I woefully underestimated how hard this game actually was. Mewtwo was supposed to be a practice run, you know, a benchmark for how tough this game would be. Start at the top of the ladder before working your way down. Turns out, I was at the bottom the entire time. Not only do the gym leaders have much stronger Pokemon than their original games, there are a ton of mandatory double battles, which was easy enough when I was 20 levels higher, but that gap closed late game. It was hands down one of the most frustrating things I've ever done in a Pokemon game. I also came across a bunch of odd glitches because of the stupid way I tried to play this game. I won't spoil too much here, but if you want to see me lose my mind, check out the link in the iCard in the top right hand corner of your screen. Number 9. Sunkern. This Pokemon makes the list for one reason and one reason only. For a while, Sunkern was the weakest Pokemon ever. In terms of stats anyway. With a base 30 across the board, giving a stat total of 180. In Generation 7, the award of weakest Pokemon will go to Wishiwashi, with a stat total of 175. So if Wishiwashi is weaker, why isn't it on the list, you may ask? For one, due to their respective typings, Wishiwashi has 2 weaknesses. Sunkern, being a grass type, has 5 weaknesses. Secondly, Wishiwashi's ability, Schooling. When Schooling is activated, Wishiwashi gets a bit of a stat boost, making its weak stats a minor issue. Sunkern gets Chlorophyll, which doubles its speed in the sun. It can be useful, but unlike Schooling, it requires setup. And with Sunkern's frail stats, you might not get the chance. So, if Sunkern is that weak, why is it number 9? Because, unlike some other Pokemon you'll see later on, Sunkern can actually learn some decent moves like Sludge Bomb and Giga Drain. I'd rather take a weak Pokemon who can potentially hit hard than take a stronger Pokemon who hits with all the strength of a baby. Number 8. Eevee in Red, Blue, and Yellow. Eevee is not one of the weakest Pokemon out there. Heck, even among first stage Pokemon, it's actually pretty decent. So why is it here? In Generation 1, Eevee is the only normal type Pokemon that can only learn normal type attacks. You can get through the game with little issues for a while, but then you get to Pokemon Tower. You're stuck now. Ghost types are immune to normal type attacks, so it's a dead run, right? Not necessarily. It is possible for you to get through Pokemon Tower. However, it'll probably be one of the most frustrating things you'll have to do here. There is one attack Eevee can learn that can hit ghosts. Bide. You spend 2 turns storing up power, and on the 3rd, you dish out double the damage you received. But there lies the problem. The Pokemon needs to hit you, and ghost type attacks are immune to normal Pokemon. Well, all except one. Nightshade. You'll need to get through all the mandatory Chandler battles using Bide, all the while hoping your opponent uses Nightshade before you run out of PP or faint. Not only do you have to do this in Pokemon Tower, you'll have to do it again against Agatha's ghost. But besides those two sections, Eevee doesn't have it so bad. It's just the parts where Eevee has it bad, it's really bad. Number 7. Ditto. Its gimmick of being able to transform into any Pokemon is both a blessing and a curse. It can make some of the more difficult battles easier, while making some of the easier battles harder. When Ditto transforms, it copies the stats that every Pokemon transforms into, except for HP. So if your Ditto changes into a level 2 Pidgey, it's going to have the stats of said level 2 Pidgey. For easier battles, you'll have an easier time using Struggle to get past them. But transforming into a potentially weak Pokemon isn't the only issue Ditto has. Ditto only gets 5 PP of each attack its opponent knows. So if you transform to a Pokemon that only knows Splash, you're only going to get 5 PP of Splash before you're forced to struggle. But the struggle doesn't end there. Since we're only using a single Ditto, that means you can't switch out and transform to another Pokemon, meaning you'll either have to make do with your opponent's lead, or hope you have enough power to sweep their team with Struggle. It can transform into any known Pokemon, but you might not like the Pokemon it's forced to become. Number 6. Unknown. You're going to notice a trend going forward. The Pokemon aren't that strong, and they're not known for their move pool. And when it comes to a Pokemon's move pool, there's arguably none worse than Unknown. It can only use Hidden Power. And at that, you're locked to a single type of Hidden Power. And unless you're using some kind of third-party program to check what type of Hidden Power you have, you won't know until you've made a few attacks to a few different types of Pokemon. And if the type Hidden Power has an immunity, you're going to have to use Struggle. Thankfully, Struggle is typeless from Generation 2 onwards, so it'll hit any type of Pokemon for neutral damage, with the trade-off of recoil. So you may not be totally screwed, but since Unknown isn't known for its bulk, you'll need as much HP as you can get. There's also going to be a fair amount of luck for the harder battles, getting crits at crucial moments. There is literally no strategy with this Pokemon, just use Hidden Power and hope for the best. With all the luck involved, this Pokemon is better off going back to the unknown. Number 5. Weedle. Knowing exactly one more move than Unknown, we've got Weedle. At least in later gens it learns new moves via Move Tutor, but it was a rough start for this hairy bug. For a while, the only attacking move Weedle knew was Poison Sting. It's Stab, so that's good, but it has an attack power of 15. That's bad. And if Poison Sting isn't working for you, then you can lower their speed with String Shot, or you can waste both their PP and use Struggle, which has an attack power of 50, but then you have to deal with recoil. And coming from an attack stat of 35, none of its moves will do much damage, but it could be worse. Number 4 and number 3. Magikarp and Caterpie. I decided to lump these two together because they both have similar problems. In Red, Blue, and Yellow, they both know Tackle and a separate useless move. At least Tackle's a bit stronger than Poison Sting, but that gets all thrown out the window in Red, Blue, and Yellow once you get to Pokemon Tower. There is nothing you can do to these Pokemon that'll make them get past Pokemon Tower, even if you use items. In Generation 1, Struggle is treated as a normal type move, meaning it is useless against ghosts. And with both of them being unable to learn any TMs or HMs, they are hard stopped at Lavender Town. On the plus side, their move pool does get a bit better with later generations, with Magikarp learning Flail and Bounce, and Caterpie learning Bug Bite. They're not the best moves in the world, but it's something. But for getting completely walled in their debut generation, and not getting much help going forward, they easily make it to the top half of the list. Number 2. Why Not? Our silver medalist wins the award of being the worst starter ever. Here's the thing, unlike its evolution, Why Not doesn't start with its gimmick attacks, Counter, and Mirror Codes. Instead, it knows Splash, Charm, and Encore. Grinding with this mon is going to be next to impossible without Struggle. So, you'll have to waste 65 turns, drain your PP, before you can start the grindiness of all grinding sessions. Make sure you buy as many potions as you can afford. Otherwise, you'll have to go to the Pokemon Center, heal up, and repeat the PP drain process all over again. All the while you pray to Arceus that you don't get knocked out in the process. So when does Why Not learn Counter and Mirror Coat? Level 15. Yep, you're gonna have to do this for 10 levels. And while Struggle is still the better option for weaker trainers, Counter and Mirror Coat will come in handy for the tougher battles. It still won't be easy, and it's next to impossible on an item like leftovers. But at least you get the ball rolling. So what can be worse than a grinding session that'll take you 10 to 15 minutes to set up before you can actually start grinding? Well, number 1, Cosmog, a Pokemon that cannot learn any attacking moves. While Cocoon Pokemon like Metapod and Cascoon also technically fall into this category, Cosmog is the weakest. Plus, it has the added bonus of not knowing 1, but 2 useless moves. Cosmog can learn Splash and Teleport, because when Splash doesn't work, you can just run away like a scared bunny. Cosmog, like any other Pokemon, can use Struggle, but the move was severely nerfed after Generation 4. I'll explain. In Generation 1, the recoil damage was equal to half the damage dealt. In Generations 2 and 3, it's 1/4. From Generation 4 onwards, it's 1/4 of the user's max HP. It doesn't matter if you deal 1 point of damage or 100. You're losing 1/4 of your health every time you use it. And since Cosmog's debut is in Generation 7, there's no getting around this. You're gonna have to beat every battle in 3 turns or less. I don't think I'm gonna have to tell you that's gonna be nearly impossible, especially when you're fighting an opponent that has 6 Pokemon. Of course you can extend this by having a healing item like Leftovers or Shell Bell, but still, losing 1/4 of your health every time you attack is quite the handicap. Between its pitiful stats, learning no attacking moves, even by HM or TM, and a super nerf Struggle, Cosmog easily takes the top spot, in my personal opinion. Sure, why not maybe more tedious, but at least it can learn somewhat useful moves. And that's my list. Is there another Pokemon you think that should be on this list? Let me know down in the comments. My name is Jeffrey Yuri, activating my YouTube trap card, Top 10 lists, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!